30 minutes before the end of the college entrance exam, I lifted my head from the desk. In my previous life, I filled out the answer sheet and got into Peking University. Zhou Yue stole my draft paper, forged chat records, and accused me of copying her. My mother knelt at the school gate begging for the truth. But someone filmed it and the whole internet blamed her for raising a thief. My father had a heart attack and collapsed in the corridor of the police station. I went from being the pride of heaven to a cheating criminal that everyone denounced. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the examination hall. The invigilator tapped on the desk. "Classmate, time's almost up." I gripped the pen, wanting to write down the answer to the last major question, then placed the pen back in the slot. The answer sheet was completely blank. In this life, I'm not taking the exam. Zhou Yue, it's your turn to enter the examination hall. When the bell rang, the classroom was filled with the rustling of papers being turned, the sound of pen tips scratching across answer sheets, a grating noise that scraped against the eardrums. The June wind crept in through the window cracks, carrying the scent of sweat, eraser shavings, and the rusty smell of an old fan struggling to turn. I lay slumped over the desk, my cheek pressed against the cool admission ticket, my back numb from the hard wooden chair. The proctor walked over to me and tapped the desk with his knuckles. "Song Jixia, wake up. There are only 30 minutes left." I opened my eyes and saw the clock hanging above the blackboard. 11 o'clock sharp. The minute hand rests on the 12. In my previous life, it was also at this time that I had just finished writing the last major question. And while checking my answer sheet, I heard Zhou Yue cough softly twice behind me. That was her signal to someone outside the examination room. Half an hour after the exam ended, my draft paper was pulled out from a trash bag. Above is the complete solution process, along with the abbreviation of her name. In the evening, the homeroom teacher called me into the office, where several printed chat screenshots were spread out on the desk. In the screenshots, I begged Zhou Yue to send me the answers. The tone was humble, full of typos. Even the punctuation doesn't resemble mine. I said that wasn't me. No one listened. Zhou Yue stood in the corner of the office with reddened eyes, her fingers clutching the cuff of her school uniform, her voice trembling just right. "Teacher, I didn't want to ruin Jixia, but she kept begging me, and I was scared." The homeroom teacher's gaze shifted from disappointment to disgust as she looked at me. The next day, the school gate was crowded with people. My mother knelt at the foot of the steps, holding my award certificate high, her voice hoarse from shouting. "My daughter would never cheat. She's been first in everything since she was little. She just wouldn't." Someone shoved a camera right in her face. Someone laughed. Someone cursed. On the third day, my father died in the corridor of the police station, still clutching the appeal materials in his hand. My mother brought his ashes home and jumped from the balcony that very night. The fan creaked, pulling me back from the scent of blood. The invigilator bent down to look at my answer sheet, frowning. "Why haven't you written a single word?" I reached into my pocket and touched the admission ticket, its edges softened by sweat. Someone in the front row turned around. There's also a gaze piercing from behind. I don't need to look to know who it is. Zhou Yue. She must be waiting for me to finish writing. When I lay that perfect score sheet from my past life before her eyes once more, I pick up the pen. The pen tip hovers above the name field on the answer sheet. I want to write, but I pause. The proctor lowered his voice. "Song Jixia, you're the city's top candidate. Don't mess this up." I looked up at him. "Teacher, I'm not feeling well. Can I hand in my paper early?" He froze. "Right now." The classroom fell silent for a moment. Someone's pen stopped. Someone's chair scraped across the floor. Zhou Yue took a breath in the back row, very softly. But I heard it. I stacked the blank answer sheet, test paper, and scratch paper together and pushed them to the corner of the desk. The invigilator stared at that blank space, his Adam's apple moving slightly. "Are you sure?" I nodded. "Sure." He picked up my test paper, flipped through a couple of pages, and his expression changed. Not a single one answered. "I'm not writing it." Zhou Yue finally couldn't hold back and spoke up. Teacher. Is she too nervous? Please let her think about it again. Her voice was still so soft. Full of concern. I turned my head. She was sitting in the second to last row of the third group, her ponytail neatly tied, with a draft paper under her test sheet, and a faint black ink mark on her left ring finger. In my previous life. That ink mark appeared in the photo she forged of my draft paper. I looked at her. Zhou Yue, do you really want me to write? The color in her face faded a little. I was just worried about you. I smiled. Then write your own first. Her lips moved. But she didn't respond. The invigilator took my test paper and led me to the door to register. As I held the pen in my hand, I saw a boy standing at the end of the corridor outside. Jiang Yuheng, the top scorer in the adjacent exam room. The only person in the previous life who had spoken up for me online. He was scolded so badly that he quit the internet. And later sent me a text message. Song Jixia. I found out there's an issue with the screenshot time. Don't die. But that day, I was already standing at the edge of the rooftop. In this life, he was still wearing a white shirt, with the sleeves rolled up to his forearms, holding a transparent stationery bag in his hand. He saw me, his gaze darkening. Did you turn in your paper? I signed my name. The pen tip tearing through the paper. Yeah, a blank one. A gust of wind blew through the corridor, making the corners of the exam papers rustle. Jiang Yuheng looked at me, saying nothing for a long time. As I walked past him, he asked in a low voice, "What do you want to do?" I stopped in my tracks. I wanted her to bury herself with her own hands. I said, "Wait until she comes out of the exam hall." Outside the school gate, parents crowded together, their umbrellas forming a continuous canopy. The air was filled with the sound of plastic water bottles being crumpled. My mother stood at the front of the crowd, clutching a damp towel in her hand, a red sunburn mark visible on her neck. Seeing me, she froze for a moment before pushing through the crowd to rush over. "Jixia. Why are you here so early? Are you feeling unwell?" She placed her hand on my forehead. Her palm cracked from washing powder, trembling slightly as it touched my skin. In my previous life, this same hand held my award certificate. Only to have her fingernail torn off when someone stepped on it. I stared at her hand, my throat tightening. I wanted to hold her, but let my hand drop. There was a camera at the entrance of the examination hall. Zhou Yue's father, Zhou Limin, was in the car across the street. In my previous life, he used this surveillance footage to edit a video of me breaking down after the exam, saying I was guilty. I can't give him the material. I took the towel and wiped my face. "Mom, I'm fine. I just don't want to take the exam anymore." My mother's face turned pale. "What do you mean you don't want to take the exam?" Several parents nearby turned to look. Someone recognized me. "Isn't that Song Jixia from No. 1 High School? Why is she out here? The one who ranked first in the city's mock exam." My mother's voice tightened. "Jixia, tell me, did something happen?" I grabbed her wrist and led her into the shade of the tree. "Mom, call Dad now and tell him not to go to school. Just wait for me at the entrance of the city admissions office." "What for?" "To file a report." She didn't understand. But she still took out her phone. She has always been like this. When others ask her to believe in evidence, she believes in me first. The call connected, and she suppressed her sobbing voice. "Old song. Don't ask yet. Jixia wants you to go to the city admissions office. Go right away." I heard my dad's voice on the phone. "What's wrong with my daughter?" My mom looked at me. I took the phone. "Dad, bring your ID. Bring a voice recorder. Don't drive, take a taxi. Don't be afraid. Dad's going now." 4 words hit my ears. And in an instant, I saw him collapse in the hallway. The floor tiles were blindingly white, his chest rising and falling more and more shallowly, the stack of papers in his hands softened by sweat. I closed my eyes for a moment. Jiang Yuheng emerged from the side of the school gate, carrying 2 bottles of water. He handed one of them to me. I turned it in early. I didn't answer. "Are you crazy?" He unscrewed the bottle cap and shoved it into my hand. "You drink first." I took a sip. And the water was so cold it made my teeth ache. He looked at my mom and nodded politely. Auntie, I'm Jiang Yuheng. From the class next door. My mom wiped her eyes. Did you also come out early? Did something happen at your exam site? Jiang Yuheng didn't speak nonsense. Just looked at me. If you need to go to the municipal admissions office, I'll go with you. I stared at him. Why? You never do anything without a reason. I gripped the bottle tightly. And the plastic made a click. A bell rang from the direction of the examination hall. The main gate opened, and students flooded out like a tide. Zhou Yue was among the crowd, and her eyes immediately found me. She wasn't smiling. She walked over, followed by the homeroom teacher. Liang Qiming. Liang Qiming saw me and furrowed his brow. Song Jixia. What's going on? The invigilator called me, saying you handed in a blank paper. The parents around them erupted in shock. A blank paper. First in the mock exam. And he handed in a blank paper. Zhou Yue bit her lip. Jixia, are you angry because I didn't lend you my notes yesterday? My mother suddenly looked at her. Notes. Zhou Yue's eyes reddened. Auntie, don't blame Jixia. She's under too much pressure. Last night she sent me a message saying she was afraid she wouldn't pass the exam. And that if I didn't help her, she wouldn't take it at all. Liang Qiming's face darkened. Song Jixia, did you send her that message? In the previous life, it was exactly these words. The first nail. I put down the water bottle, reached into my pocket, and pressed the switch on the voice recorder. Zhou Yue, you said I sent you a message last night. She nodded, her voice trembling. I don't want to say it. Did you bring your phone? Her eyes flickered. Phones aren't allowed in the exam room. It's with my dad. I looked across the street at the black car. The window rolled up halfway. Zhou Limin was inside. Looking at me, I raised my finger and pointed. Then have your dad bring it over. Zhou Yue's fingers gripped the cuff of her sleeve. Ji Xia, you're not in a good mood right now. Let's talk about this when we get back to school. I took a step forward. No. Just so many people heard it. I looked at her. Word by word. You said if I begged you to help me, you would take out your phone and show it to my mom in front of everyone. The surroundings fell silent. Liang Qiming also looked at Zhou Yue. Her throat moved. The car door opened. Zhou Limin stepped out, holding a phone in his hand. A smile on his face. Let's not make a scene at the school gate over a quarrel between girls. My mom stepped in front of me. Who's making a scene? Your daughter said my daughter sent her a message, show me your phone. Zhou Limin's smile faded. What's your attitude? My mother clenched the towel tightly. I held her shoulders. Mom, don't argue. I turned to Liang Qiming. Teacher Liang, I am now going to the municipal admissions office to apply for the sealing of all my exam materials, including blank answer sheets, scratch paper, seat surveillance footage, and the trash bags from the exam room. Since Zhou Yue claims that I sought her help last night, I request that she bring her phone and chat records along. Zhou Yue's face completely changed. Why are you sealing the trash bag? I looked into her eyes. Because I was afraid there might be something inside that shouldn't be there. The air conditioning in the city admissions office lobby was set very low. As soon as the glass door opened, the cold air hit my sweat-soaked back, and I shivered. My dad was already there. He was wearing a faded shirt, holding his ID card and a voice recorder in his hand, his forehead covered in sweat. Seeing me, he strode over, wanting to ask something, but first he touched my head. It's okay. Dad's here. I nodded. Dad, is the recorder on? He paused for a moment, then quickly pressed down the recorder in his pocket. Open it. The staff member behind the reception window looked up. What is it? I placed my admission ticket on the counter. I want to apply for the preservation of all original materials and surveillance footage from this morning's Chinese exam. The exam room number and seat number are here. I submitted a blank paper, and after the exam, someone publicly claimed that I asked her for help last night. I'm worried that someone might fabricate evidence later. The staff frowned. Comrade, there's a standardized procedure for sealing college entrance exam materials. It's not something you can just decide to seal on your own. Jiang Yuheng handed over a piece of paper. We don't require private access to the materials. We only ask for a written application and a record of the CASE being accepted. She is a candidate and has the right to report any irregularities. The staff member glanced at him. Who are you? A fellow examinee from the same school. A witness. Zhou Limin, along with Zhou Yue and Liang Qiming, entered just in time to hear this. Zhou Limin slammed his phone down on the table. Comrade. This child failed her exam and is throwing a tantrum. The school will handle it. Don't let her pull you along. My father turned around. Who said my daughter failed her exam? Zhou Limin chuckled. Failing to hand in a paper isn't considered a bad exam. The veins on my dad's neck bulged. I pulled him back. Dad. Don't argue with him. Zhou Yue stood behind Liang Qiming. Her eyes red. She knew I had no evidence. In my previous life, I only knew she stole my draft, had someone forged chat records, and had her father contact local self-media to amplify public opinion. But I don't know how she stole it, when she stole it, or who helped her. In this life, I don't have any concrete evidence either, so I'll start by submitting a blank answer sheet. A blank answer sheet can turn all the traps she prepared in her previous life into a joke. If she still wants to pin me down, she'll have to change her plans temporarily. When a person is in a hurry, their hands become clumsy. I looked at Zhou Yue. Where's the phone? She handed out her phone. The screen already lit up. The WeChat chat interface was paused on the dialogue between her and me. The last message was from 10:47 last night. Song Jixia. Yue. Tomorrow you sit behind me. Write the answers a bit bigger. I just need a glance. My father's face stiffened. My mother covered her mouth. Liang Qiming said sternly. Song Jixia. You still deny it. Zhou Yue's tears fell. I've deleted a few of your more outrageous messages. I was afraid the teacher would see them and you'd be in trouble. Her hand trembling as she handed me the phone. You're such a good actress. I stared at the screen and spoke. Teacher Liang. Do you remember where our class was from 10 to 11 last night? Liang Qiming paused. Pre-exam psychological counseling. In the school auditorium. What about the phone? He frowned. All placed in the classroom phone bag. I looked at the staff member. At 10:47 last night. My phone was in the locker next to the homeroom teacher's office. Under the supervision of the duty teacher. The school has surveillance. And there is a phone bag sign-off sheet. Zhou Yue's sobs caught in her throat. Zhou Limin's face darkened. She can log into WeChat using someone else's phone. Jiang Yuheng chimed in. Logging into WeChat from a new device leaves a record and requires SMS verification. Song Jixia's phone. Any card was in the locker last night, so she couldn't receive the SMS. My dad immediately handed over my phone. Check it. Right now. The staff member stood up. This is not a public security office. You can't just check someone's phone. I nodded. Then call the police. The lobby grew even quieter. Zhou Yue suddenly looked up. Call the police. Song Jixia. We're classmates. Do you really want to make such a big deal out of this? I looked at her. Didn't you feel embarrassed when you begged me to cheat at the school gate? Her lips were pale. My mom took out her phone and had to press the number 3 times to get it right. Hello, police. Someone forged my daughter's chat records and publicly accused her of cheating on the college entrance exam. Zhou Limin reached out to snatch the phone. Jiang Yuheng stepped in to block him. Uncle, don't touch it. Zhou Limin's eyes darkened. Kid. Does your family know you're involved in this kind of thing? Jiang Yuheng looked at him. They know. I heard Zhou Yue's breathing falter. She finally realized that the first step was wrong. A blank paper is not giving up. It was me who broke the knife she had prepared. Right in her hands. The police arrived quickly. Zhou Limin completely changed his previous attitude, offering cigarettes and smiling apologetically, saying it was just a misunderstanding between kids. The officer didn't accept the cigarette, only instructing us to go to the mediation room to give our statements. The fluorescent light cast a pale glow on everyone's faces, and the table smelled of disinfectant. When I sat down, my fingertips brushed against a crack along the edge of the table. In my previous life, I had sat at a table like this too. Back then. Across from me weren't police officers, but school officials, reporters, Zhou Limin, and my mother, sobbing almost to the point of passing out. They took turns questioning me. Why copy? Who gave you the courage? Do you deserve your parents? In this life, the one asking the questions has changed. The officer flipped through the records. Song Jixia, you claim that the other party fabricated the chat records. What evidence do you have? First, at 10:47 last night, I was personally attending a pre-exam psychological counseling session in the school auditorium, and all phones were collected. Second, I handed in a blank exam paper this morning. I didn't answer any questions, nor did I have any motive to cheat. Third, Zhou Yue spread the claim that I asked her to cheat at the school gate, which has already damaged my reputation. Zhou Yue sat beside her, tears beginning to fall again. I didn't spread it, I was just concerned about her. I looked at her. You told over a dozen parents and the homeroom teacher that I sent you a message last night asking for help. Does that count as concern? She bit her lip. The police officer looked at her. How did the chat records on your phone come about? It was sent by her. Do you have the original screenshot? Zhou Yue handed over her phone. The police officer took a glance. Only the current chat interface. She nodded. I was afraid it might affect her, so I didn't take a screenshot. Jiang Yuheng suddenly spoke up. Can we check her phone's system time and the devices logged into her WeChat? Zhou Limin slammed the table. What do you think you are? Do you have the right to interrupt a police officer's questioning? My father also stood up, the chair legs scraping across the floor, making my ears ache. Try saying that again. The officer tapped the table. Everyone, sit down. My father's chest heaved as he slowly sat back down. I placed my hand on his arm. I can't let Dad get so angry that something happens. I turned to Zhou Limin. Uncle Zhou, are you that afraid of having your phone checked? Zhou Limin stared at me, the faint smile in his eyes gone. Little girl, don't speak too soon. I have nothing to hide. I just want to check. The police officer eventually allowed Zhou Yue to cooperate with the inspection. In her WeChat login devices, besides her own phone, there was also a record of a tablet device that had been deleted just an hour ago. The device name was iPad. Login time: last night at 10:43. Logout time: last night at 10:50. My dad's eyes suddenly turned red. Whose tablet is this? Zhou Yue's hand trembled slightly. I don't know. Maybe I logged in before. Jiang Yuheng said. Logging in before wouldn't show last night. Zhou Limin immediately chimed in. The child got it wrong. Her mother's tablet. Family members occasionally check her WeChat. The police officer looked at him. Why is the family's tablet logged into Song Jixia's WeChat and sending messages to Zhou Yue? Zhou Limin was speechless. Zhou Yue burst into tears. I really don't know. Maybe Jixia asked someone else to log in. She used to know my password. I laughed. You know my password? You do. Then tell me, what's the password? Zhou Yue opened her mouth. Not a single sound came out. I leaned back in my chair. Can't make it up. She cried even harder. The police officer closed the record. We now need you to provide the school's phone custody records, auditorium surveillance footage, and relevant equipment information. Whether it constitutes a violation of the law requires further investigation. Zhou Limin's expression turned grim. Liang Qiming couldn't sit still beside him. The school will cooperate with this matter. But it's also a fact that Song Jixia handed in a blank exam paper. She will bear the consequences for her subsequent grades and academic progression. I look at him. Teacher Liang. Of course I will bear the responsibility. He frowned. I said. I also hope you remember that when you heard Zhou Yue's one-sided accusation against me today, your first reaction was to assume I was at fault. Liang Qiming's face turned pale and then flushed. Zhou Yue raised her tear-filled eyes. Jixia, why must you be like this? I haven't done anything to harm you. I stared at her. In my previous life, when my mother knelt down, she also stood behind the crowd, looking at me with this same expression. She said, Jixia, Just admit it. Everyone will forgive you. I curved my lips slightly. What's the rush? Her shoulders stiffened. This is only the first day. The school acted faster than I expected. That night, the class group chat exploded. Someone posted in the group about me handing in a blank exam paper, calling the police, and Zhou Yue being taken away for questioning. Within minutes, it spread to the grade-wide group chat, the parents' group, and even local forums. The headlines kept changing, but the accusations remained the same. A top student from City No. 1 high school left his college entrance exam blank. Suspected to have collapsed after a failed cheating attempt. The former top student went mad in the exam hall, falsely accusing classmates of forging chat records. My mom was sitting on the sofa scrolling through her phone, her face growing paler the more she scrolled. My dad took her phone away. Don't look. She looked at me with reddened eyes. Jixia, how could they say such things about you? I crouched down in front of her and held her hands. Mom, don't answer any calls tonight. And don't open the door for anyone. Dad, did you take your blood pressure medication? My dad was taken aback. I did. Take it again. He wanted to say no, but after I gave him a stern look, he obediently went to get the blood pressure monitor. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. My mother flinched. I walked to the door and looked out through the peephole. Zhou Yue stood at the door, followed by two girls, one holding a phone with the camera hidden in front of her chest. I opened the door. Just a crack. Anything wrong? Zhou Yue's eyes were swollen, her voice so thin it seemed about to break. Jixia, I want to talk to you alone. Not alone. The girl behind her immediately spoke up. Song Jixia, Yue is already like this. Are you still putting on airs? I looked at the corner of the phone peeking out from her chest. Are you taking a picture? The girl's face changed instantly. I reached out and pulled the door open directly. The hallway light flickered, illuminating her screen which was recording. My dad rushed out from the living room. What are you doing? Zhou Yue took a half step back, and tears fell again. Uncle, we're just worried about Jixia. My father was so angry his hands were shaking. I blocked him and took out my phone, pointing it at them. Come on. Keep talking. The girl got anxious. What are you filming? You can film me, but I can't film you. Zhou Yue bit her lip. Jixia, please don't do this. I really just want you not to call the police. My dad hasn't eaten all day because of this. I looked at her. 1 second you're online saying I cheated and failed. The next you come to me asking to drop the case, and even bring people to secretly film me. Zhou Yue, are you here to apologize? Or are you trying to force me to take action? The tears on her face stopped. I take a step forward. Are you trying to film my dad getting angry and edit it to make it look like our family is bullying people? The girl holding the phone's hand trembled. Zhou Yue's face turned pale. I smiled. Did I guess right? Footsteps approached from the staircase. Jiang Yuheng came up carrying a file bag, and stopped in his tracks when he saw the scene at the door. I'm not late. He handed me the file bag. Inside were printed web page screenshots, an online notarization explanation from the notary office, and a USB drive. The first post on the forum was posted at 5:26 p.m. At that time, you were still at the police station giving statements. Yet the post contained details of the statement. I flipped to the screenshot. The posting account was named Weifeng Buzhao. I looked up at Zhou Yue. The name sounds familiar. She took a step back. It wasn't me, Jiang Yuheng said. The phone number bound ends with 7391. The girl behind Zhou Yue blurted out. Yue, isn't your phone number just? Zhou Yue suddenly turned around. The girl had already fallen silent too late. My mother walked out from the living room, her face pale but standing straight. She looked at Zhou Yue. Girl, what exactly did my daughter do to offend you? Zhou Yue's lips trembled. Auntie. I didn't. My mother suddenly raised her hand and pointed toward the elevator. Scram. Zhou Yue froze. My mother's voice was hoarse. Take your phone. Your tears. And your dad's threatening stuff. And get the hell out of my house. The hallway was so quiet that only the sound of electricity could be heard. When Zhou Yue turned around, her gaze swept over my face. There is no longer room for grievances inside. Only hatred remains. I know she won't stop. She will strike back. In her previous life, it was this relentless drive to never lose that allowed her to climb up by stepping on my bones. I closed the door. Leaning my back against it, Jiang Yuheng stood outside the door, speaking through it. Tomorrow, the school will come looking for you. I said. I know. They'll make you let it go. I gripped the USB drive tightly, then let them all come in together. The next morning, a police cordon was set up at the school gate. It wasn't because of us. It was because some self-media influencers had arrived. Several people were holding up their phones, blocking both sides of the school gate, and questioning any student wearing the school uniform of No. 1 high school. I heard someone cheated on the college entrance exam at your school. What's the character of the girl who handed in a blank paper like? My dad was about to rush over, but my mom held him back tightly. I stepped out of the taxi, my cap pulled low, the straps of my backpack digging into my shoulders. Jiang Yuhen got out of another car, holding a stack of paper materials in his hand. He walked over to me. Ready? I looked at the familiar road inside the school gate. In my previous life, I was driven out from here. The security guard wouldn't let me in. My homeroom teacher didn't answer the phone. And classmates stood on the upper floor taking pictures of me. It was raining heavily that day. My mother's pant legs were covered in mud. Yet she still tilted the umbrella toward my head. I clenched the strap of my school bag. Let's go. The teaching office was packed with people. The principal, the grade director, Liang Qiming, Zhou Limin, and Zhou Yue. Zhou Yue's eyes were red again. Clutching a tissue in her hand, the principal spoke first. Song Zhixia. This matter is having a very negative impact now. Handing in a blank exam paper is your personal choice. But by calling the police and responding online, you've pushed the school into the spotlight. I asked. When did I respond online? The principal was left speechless. Zhou Limin placed the teacup on the table. You didn't respond. That guy beside you must have caused quite a bit of trouble. Right. Checking phone numbers. Digging into accounts. Who taught you that? Jiang Yuheng put the documents on the table. Public information forensics. Legal. Zhou Limin sneered coldly. What do you, a student, know about legality? A voice came from the doorway. Then do I know? I turned around and saw a woman in a suit walking in. Short hair. Black bag. Holding a lawyer's license. Jiang Yuheng said. My aunt, Lin Shuha, is a lawyer. The office fell silent. Zhou Limin's face twitched slightly. Lin Shuha pulled out a chair and sat down. I'm here today on behalf of Song Zhixia's parents to participate in the communication. Let's confirm a few things first. She spread out the documents page by page. First, Song Zhixia turned in a blank exam paper, with no evidence of cheating. Second, Zhou Yue publicly spread false information at the school gate, claiming that Song Zhixia had sought help to cheat. Third, details from the police station interview appeared in an online post, and the account used to publish it was closely linked to Zhou Yue's phone number. Fourth, before the facts were clarified, several teachers in the parent group hinted that Song Zhixia was psychologically unstable and behaving abnormally. Liang Qiming's expression changed. I didn't imply anything. I just reminded parents not to spread it. Lin Shuha looked at him. You posted. Some top students have poor stress tolerance and engage in extreme behaviors. Parents should take this as a warning. That sentence is in the screenshot. Liang Qiming's lips were dry. The principal coughed. Lawyer Lin. We're not here to confront each other today, we're here to solve a problem. I spoke up. Then make a public clarification. The principal looked at me. I spoke word by word. The school will issue an announcement stating that my submission of a blank paper was a personal action. And no evidence of cheating has been found. Regarding Zhou Yue's accusations against me at the school gate, the school is cooperating with the investigation. And no one is allowed to spread unverified information. Zhou Limin laughed. You think too highly of yourself. You want the school to offend our family for the sake of one student who handed in a blank exam. My mother's expression changed. My father suddenly looked up. I look at the principal. So Uncle Zhou can represent the school. The principal's face darkened. Mr. Zhou. Please watch your words. Zhou Limin also realized he had let something slip and picked up his cup to drink water. Zhou Yue suddenly stood up and bowed deeply to me. Ji Xia. I'm sorry. I was wrong to say those things at the school gate. I'm willing to apologize. Please don't pressure the school anymore. She was crying so hard her shoulders trembled. The expressions on the teachers' faces softened. I watched her back as she bent over. I remembered how she had bowed like that in front of the camera in my previous life. She said, I am willing to forgive Song Jixia. And I only hope she won't stray from the right path in the future. I took out my phone and opened the hallway footage from last night. The footage of her bringing people to secretly film appeared on the screen. The audio was crystal clear. Are you trying to film my dad losing his temper and de-edit it to make it look like our family is bullying others? Zhou Yue's tears froze on her face. I looked up. Apologizing is fine. Explain this first. The principal finally issued an announcement. Each word carefully chosen. Like a cup of tea diluted 10 times. Yet one sentence was enough. After investigation, no evidence of cheating by student Song Jixia in this exam was found. Half an hour after the announcement was made, the wind began to shift. Some people delete posts, others change their tune, and some just play dead. More information has been dug up about Zhou Yue's account. She posted on an anonymous forum half a year ago. I have a friend who acts all high and mighty every day, but is actually terrified of losing. Her family isn't well off. Yet she always acts like she doesn't rely on anyone. So disgusting. Someone below asked, did this friend steal your spot? She replied, she can't steal it, I'll make her fall. When the screenshot was sent to the class group, there was silence for 10 minutes. The first person to speak was the girl who was usually closest to Zhou Yue. She sent a message. Yue, explain yourself. Zhou Yue didn't reply. In the afternoon, the police notified us to go and provide additional materials. As I just reached the entrance of the police station, I saw Zhou Yue standing at the bottom of the steps. She wasn't crying, but there were dark circles under her eyes. And her school uniform was badly wrinkled. Song Jixia. I stopped. Jiang Yuheng stood by my side. Saying nothing, Zhou Yue looked at him and curled her lips slightly. You're quite good at finding helpers. I said. You're not bad either. Her face darkened. Did you plan to hand in a blank paper from the start? I looked at her. Guess. She took a step forward. How dare you? You clearly care the most about your grades. Didn't you say you wanted to get into Beijing University and take your parents away from that old neighborhood? If you hand in a blank paper now, how are you going to turn your life around? My fingers curled slightly. Her words hit right on target. I do care. In my previous life, I touched the Tsinghua University admission letter over and over again. But before I could show it to my parents, it was torn to shreds by the scolding. In this life, I gave it up with my own hands. It's not that my heart doesn't ache, but I knew. The blank paper was only the first round. I raised my eyes. I'll make you turn over. Zhou Yue's pupils narrowed slightly. I walked into the police station. When filling out the supplementary record, the officer took out a technical feedback report. Song Jixia's WeChat was logged in from a different location at 10:43 p.m. last night, with the login IP corresponding to an internet cafe 2 kilometers from your school. My heart sank. Internet cafe. There was no such link in my previous life. Or rather, I didn't live long enough to uncover this link. The police officer continued. We need to retrieve the surveillance footage from the internet cafe. Preliminary investigation shows the login device was a tablet, and the user was wearing a mask with a slender build. Zhou Yue lowered her head without speaking. Zhou Limin sat beside her, tapping his knuckles on his knee. The police officer asked her, where were you from 10:40 to 10:50 last night? Zhou Yue looked up. The school auditorium. Can anyone verify that? Everyone is here. Jiang Yuheng spoke. The auditorium lights will be turned off from 10:35 to 10:55 to play a stress relief short film. Student seats are not fixed. And some people went to the restroom during that time. The police officer took notes. Zhou Yue glared at him fiercely. I suddenly remembered someone. Chen Jiashu, Zhou Yue's cousin, a student from the neighboring vocational high school, who, in the previous life, had gone live during the height of the online harassment, claiming he had personally witnessed me trading answers with Zhou Yue before the exam. He gained tens of thousands of followers from that live stream. I asked the police officer, can we check the ID registration at the internet cafe? We're already checking. 20 minutes later, the results came out. Registered person: Chen Jiashu. The last bit of color faded from Zhou Yue's face. Zhou Limin immediately stood up. Chen Jiashu has nothing to do with my daughter. He's an adult and responsible for his own actions. I looked at him, thrown away so quickly. Zhou Limin's gaze was sharp as a blade. Son, Ji Jixia, always leave some room when dealing with people. I let out a laugh. You didn't leave any for me in your previous life. The words fell, and the room fell silent. Jiang Yuheng looked at me. I lowered my eyes. What I mean is, you never intended to leave any for me from the start. The police officer tapped the table. Chen Jiashu has been summoned. Zhou Yue's fingers dug into her palm. She finally stopped crying. I knew she had started to fear. When Chen Jiashu was brought in, he was still wearing internet cafe slippers. His hair was dyed yellow, his mask pulled down to his chin, and his eyes darted around. Seeing Zhou Yue, his first reaction wasn't surprise, but to hide. The officer pushed the login records and screenshots from the internet cafe surveillance in front of him. Last night, you logged into Song Jixia's WeChat on a tablet and sent messages to Zhou Yue, didn't you? Chen Jiashu remained stubborn. It wasn't me. Your ID card is yours. The surveillance is yours. And the equipment was rented by you. He swallowed hard. Zhou Limin spoke up. Chen, think carefully before you speak. Don't let others lead you into saying something. The police officer glanced at him. Mr. Zhou, don't interfere with the questioning. Chen Jiashu broke out in a cold sweat. I looked at him. In the previous life, he cursed me on live stream. He said that girls like Song Jixia are the best at pretending, acting all high and mighty on the surface, but secretly begging my sister for answers. He kept replaying the video of my mother kneeling on the ground, laughing as he asked netizens to send gifts. My fingers pressed against my knees, my nails scraping the fabric over and over. The police officer asked again, who told you to log in? Chen Jiashu remained silent. Zhou Yue suddenly looked up. Cousin, why are you doing this? Chen Jiashu froze. Her tears fell. I was just complaining to you about Jixia putting pressure on me. I didn't ask you to harm her. Chen Jiashu's eyes widened. Didn't you say you wanted me to help you? Zhou Limin kicked the leg of his chair. The chair clattered loudly. The police Officer said sternly. Zhou Limin. Chen Jiashu was so startled he flinched, cutting off his words. I slowly smiled. Go on. Chen Jiashu looked at Zhou Yue, his lips trembling. Are you pushing me now? Zhou Yue shook her head, crying. I didn't. I really didn't know you'd do something like this. She started acting again. But this time, she picked the wrong person. Chen Jiashu is not me. He's not that patient. He slammed his hand on the table. Zhou Yue, stop pretending. You gave me the password. You told me to log into Song Jixia's WeChat. You told me to send those messages. You even said that as long as I put the draft paper in the trash bag after the exam, the school would trace it back to her. The room was so quiet you could hear the air conditioner dripping. Tears hung on Zhou Yue's face. Not falling. Zhou Limin stood up. You're talking nonsense. Chen Jiashu also decided to go all out. Talking nonsense. Your daughter transferred 2,000 yuan to me, saying she'd give another 3,000 after the job was done. The transfer record is still there. The police officer immediately asked him to show his phone. Zhou Yue lunged forward, trying to grab it. Jiang Yuheng reached out to block her. and the phone fell onto the table, its screen lighting up. Transfer records. Chat logs, each one laid out clearly. Zhou Yue. She must be finished this time. Zhou Yue. As long as she's caught cheating, the reserved spot for Tsinghua University will be mine. Zhou Yue. Don't be afraid. My dad knows some influential people here. Once public opinion turns, what she says won't matter. My mom covered her mouth, tears falling onto the back of her hand. My dad's eyes were red, his chest rising and falling heavily. I quickly grabbed his wrist. Dad, breathe. He gritted his teeth, speaking word by word. She's only 18. How could she be so vicious? Zhou Yue slumped back into her chair. That wasn't all. I know. Because of the fatal blow from the previous life. It wasn't just the chat records. There was also the draft paper filled with answers. The police officer looked at Zhou Yue. What's with the draft paper? She shook her head. I don't know. Chen Jiashu sneered. You wouldn't know. Because the draft paper hasn't had time to be placed yet. I looked up. Where is it? Chen Jiashu looked at Zhou Yue. His eyes filled with resentment. In her backpack's inner pocket. Zhou Yue suddenly grabbed the backpack. Too late. The police officer took out the backpack and inspected it on the spot. Inside the lining were several folded pieces of draft paper. Above are the essay outline, reading comprehension keywords, and a few questions from the liberal arts comprehensive exam. The handwriting is very similar to mine. But there's a flaw. I turned in a blank paper today. This content could not possibly have come from my exam answers. I picked up one of them, the edge of the paper brushing against my fingertip. In my previous life, they nailed me to the cross. In this life, they lie here, becoming the handle of her blade. I look at Zhou Yue. You lost. She looks up, her eyes filled with red veins. Impossible. I say. Maybe. Her lips trembled. How could you know? I put the draft paper back on the table. Because you're bad in such a predictable way. The day Zhou Yue was taken away, it grew dark early. A crowd gathered at the police station entrance. Rows of phone cameras, lenses raised. In the previous life, those lenses were pointed at my mother. In this life, they're aimed at Zhou Yue. Her school uniform cuffs were crumpled from her own pulling. Her hair came loose. And she kept repeating, I didn't. Chen Jiashu had kept her spotless. Chat records, transfer receipts, internet cafe surveillance, forged draft paper, anonymous posts, all were connected. Zhou Limin still wanted to find someone to pressure, but was shut down by Lin Shuha with a single sentence. Mr. Zhou, what you should be most concerned about right now is whether you have participated in spreading false information. His face instantly turned ashen. The school held an emergency meeting overnight. The next morning, a second announcement was issued. Zhou Yue is suspected of forging chat records and maliciously spreading false information. The school has suspended her eligibility for future commendations and is cooperating with the police investigation. The Independent Admission Office of Jing University, Tai, also sent a notice. Given Zhou Yue's serious integrity issues, her recommendation eligibility has been revoked. When the message reached the class group, no one said anything. A few minutes later, someone sent a message. Song Jixia. I'm sorry. Then came the second sentence. The third. Those who had forwarded posts in the group made sarcastic remarks and watched the drama unfold. One by one, started to emerge. I'm sorry. I didn't understand the situation clearly at the time. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have followed along with what was said. I'm sorry. I hope you don't take it to heart. I stared at the screen and didn't reply. My mom sat beside me and whispered, not forgiving. I put my phone face down on the table. No. She froze for a moment. I take her hand. Mom. Not every, I'm sorry, deserves an, it's okay, in return. Her eyes welled up with tears again. And she nodded. In the afternoon, Zhou Yue's mother came to my house. She was wearing an expensive dress, with dark circles under her eyes, and knelt down as soon as she entered the door. My mother stepped back in fear. What are you doing? She grabbed my mother's pant leg. Sister, please let Yue go. She's still young. She was just confused for a moment. My mother's face gradually turned cold. She's young. My daughter isn't young. Zhou's mother cried until she was out of breath. Your family's Jixia is already fine. But if Yue gets a criminal record, her whole life will be ruined. My father stood at the door. His voice heavy. Did she ever think about it when she ruined someone else's life? Zhou's mother looked at me. Jixia. Auntie begs you. Yue used to be so close to you. You were classmates for 3 years. I crouched down and looked at her. Auntie. When she transferred money to Qinjiashu, she still remembered that we were classmates for 3 years. Her lips trembled. But didn't you end up not getting hurt? The air in the room suddenly froze. The cup in my mother's hand shattered on the ground. Water splashed onto Zhou's mother's skirt. My mother pointed at the door. Get out. Zhou's mother still tried to crawl over. Jiang Yuheng's voice came from the doorway. If you don't leave now, I'll call the police and report you for harassing the victim at her home. Zhou's mother saw the phone in his hand and finally got up. She turned back suddenly as she reached the door. Song Jixia. You'll regret this. I stood up. The one who regrets won't be me. The door closed. My mother's legs went weak, and she sank onto the sofa. My father was supporting her, and his hands were trembling too. I walked over and hugged them. This time, I didn't avoid the camera. There was no camera, only my father's heartbeat, my mother's tears, and the fading light outside the window. Jiang Yuheng stood at the entrance. Not coming in. I look at him. Thank you. He asked. What will you do next? I let go of my parents. Repeat. My mother suddenly looked up. Jixia. I smiled. I don't want the college entrance exam anymore, but I do want to go to university. Jiang Yuheng looked at me, his eyes glowing slightly. Then I'll stay with you. I looked at him. Didn't you already finish the exam? I can go to Kyoto University and wait for you first. He paused, then added, I can also come back every week to help you with your problems. My throat went dry, and I looked away. Whatever you want. He laughed. I heard my heart give a faint thump. Not because of him, but because I finally took a step out of that dark room from my previous life. Zhou Yue's breakdown came faster than I had anticipated. After her recommendation qualification was revoked, her performance in the regular college entrance examination was also affected. It wasn't that her scores were lowered. She didn't finish the exam. The next afternoon during the math exam, she dropped her pen in the exam room and said someone was trying to harm her. The invigilator took her out, and she crouched in the hallway crying until she vomited. Someone filmed the incident and shared the video. In the video, her hair was stuck to her face, and she kept muttering to herself, "It's not my fault. Song Jixia forced me to do it." At first, some people in the comments section expressed sympathy, until the police released their statement. Zhou and Chen jointly fabricated online chat records in an attempt to frame their fellow student, Song, for cheating on exams, and organized the dissemination of false information. The relevant individuals have been dealt with according to the law. Those sympathies instantly turned against her. Her account was thoroughly searched. All her previous posts boasting, mocking, and sarcastic remarks were screenshotted. She said poor students pretend to work hard. She said children from ordinary families have shallow vision. She said people like Song Jixia have hard bones because they haven't been broken yet. The last sentence was pushed to the top of the trending G searches. Zhou Yue's father's company was also found to have tax evasion issues. I didn't do this. Zhou Limin had offended too many people in his daily life. And once the wall cracked, everyone wanted to give it a kick. On the day he was taken away, Zhou Yue came to block me at the entrance of my cram school. At that time, I was attending evening self-study. It was raining outside, and inside the classroom, only the sounds of turning pages and pens scratching on paper could be heard. The security guard called the office, saying a girl insisted on seeing me. I went out with an umbrella. Jiang Yuheng happened to be delivering documents and was waiting for me at the school gate. Rain pounded on the umbrella, pattering loudly. Zhou Yue stood under the streetlight, soaked to the bone, her face noticeably thinner. She saw me and rushed over. Song Jixia. Are you satisfied now? Jiang Yuheng blocked my way. She raised her hand to strike him. I grabbed her wrist. She struggled twice but couldn't break free. Her voice sharp and piercing. You ruined me. You ruined my dad too. My mom cries every day now, aren't you happy? I looked at her. You started it. I just want that spot. She shouted. Rain dripping down her chin. Why do teachers always like you? Why can you get first place even though your family is so poor? Why do I have to be behind you even though my dad donated money to the school? Her chest rose and fell rapidly. I've worked hard. I only sleep 4 hours a day. I do practice problems. I memorize everything. But you always beat me by 1, 2, 5 points. Song Jixia. Do you know what that feels like? I looked at her. No. She froze. I said. In my previous life. When you pushed me into the mud. I knew. Her eyes went blank. You're talking about a previous life again, have you gone mad? I didn't explain. Rain soaks my shoes. Socks clinging to my ankles. Cold and numb. I take a step forward. Zhou Yue. I've never stood in your way. It's you who feels that as long as I'm standing. You're shorter. Her lips tremble. Why didn't you take the exam? Why did you hand in a blank paper? As long as you take it normally. I can. She suddenly stopped. But it was already too late. Jiang Yuheng was holding his phone. The recording interface glowing. Zhou Yue saw it and froze completely. I released her wrist. What can you do? She took a step back. Turn it off. I said. It's none of your business. She lunged forward to grab it, but was stopped by the guard and Jiang Yuheng together. Her umbrella fell to the ground and was flipped over by the rain. She crouched down, hugging her head, and finally burst into tears. This time. It wasn't an act. She cried until her throat went hoarse, repeating over and over. I was wrong. I was wrong. Song Jixia. I was really wrong. I looked down at her. In my previous life. I waited for those words. I waited until my parents' ashes were placed in the living room. Until I stood on the rooftop. Until the wind blew my school uniform out. But then. She didn't say it. Now she did. It's no use anymore. I turned and walked back into the school. She shouted behind me. Song Jixia. Come back. Come back. I didn't look back. That year of repeating my studies was very hard for me. Not everyone understood me. Some said I was foolish. A top student in the city who left my exam paper blank. Gambling with my life in anger. Others said I was ruthless. Determined to send my classmates to prison. Some also accused me of sensationalism. Saying I use my victim status to gain attention. I switched to a basic phone. Deactivated all social media accounts. And wake up at 5:30 every day and go to bed at 11:30. A piece of paper is stuck to the corner of the table. Live. Pass the exams. Take my parents away. Jiang Yuheng comes back by high-speed train every Friday. He brought back a thick stack of materials from Peking University and sat at my small dining table to explain the problems to me. My mom always serves him a big bowl of soup. My dad complained that he came too often. But turned around and bought 3 servings of the new beef patties from the shop downstairs. One night, the power went out, and the entire building plunged into darkness. I was working on the final math problem. My pen tip frozen midair. In the darkness, I suddenly caught the scent of disinfectant from the hospital corridor in my past life. My mother's cries echoed in my ears. My hands were shaking badly, and the pen fell to the ground. Jiang Yuheng turned on his phone's flashlight. The light shining onto the table. He didn't ask me what was wrong. Just picked up the pen and placed it back beside my hand. This problem can wait. I stared at the question. My throat tightening. I'm scared. He said. Scared of what? I pressed my finger against the test paper. Almost. But not quite. He fell silent for a few seconds. Song Jixia. You're not retaking an exam. I looked up. He looked at me. You're trying to bring yourself back from that day. My nose tingled with tears. And I quickly lowered my head. Don't cry. If you cry, you won't be able to see the questions clearly. He pushed the scratch paper over. Write the first step first. I took a deep breath and gripped the pen. Outside the window, someone lit a candle. And children's laughter echoed in the hallway. My mother called from the kitchen. Jixia, Yuheng, the noodles are ready. My dad chimed in. Eat first. The problems aren't going anywhere. Looking at the light before me, I suddenly felt as if the door to that dark room had opened a little wider. The day before the college entrance exam, I received a letter. No signature. The letter paper is crumpled. The handwriting slanted. Song Jixia. I can't sleep every night. I dream of the look in your eyes on the day you handed in a blank paper. I dreamed my father was taken away, and my mother was kneeling at your doorstep. I dreamed I didn't tear up that draft paper. If you had taken the exam normally that day, would you be the one being scolded now? I dare not think about it. I really regret it. I stared at the last sentence for a long time. Then I folded the letter and placed it at the very bottom of the drawer. Jiang Yuheng asked. Who sent it? Zhou Yue. Are you going to reply? I shook my head. No. Shall we keep it? I pushed the drawer back in. Keep it to remind me that regret is not atonement. The next day, as I entered the exam hall, my mother straightened my collar for me. She wanted to say a lot, but in the end, she only said, Sweetie, just finish writing it. My dad handed me the exam admission ticket. Don't be afraid. Mom and Dad are both outside. Jiang Yuheng stood behind the crowd, waving the water in his hand at me. I smiled. The exam bell rang. I sat down at my seat and spread out the test paper. The paper had a faint smell of ink. The fan is still the old one. And the chair back is still hard. I held the pen and wrote the name Song Jixia in the name field. This time, I didn't stop. On the day the results came out, my mom didn't dare to look. My dad was wearing reading glasses, his finger hovering over the mouse. Unable to click for a long time, I stood behind him, my palms sweating. Jiang Yuheng's video call was on. On the other side of the screen, he sat on the steps outside the library of Peking University, looking even more nervous than I was. My dad closed his eyes and clicked to check. The page froze for 2 seconds. The score popped up. 712. Second in the province. My mother froze for 3 seconds. Then suddenly covered her face and cried. My father took off his glasses, turned his back, his shoulders trembling violently. I stared at the screen, my vision blurring. Jiang Yuheng laughed on the other end of the phone. Song Jixia. See you at Jing University. I wiped my eyes. Yeah. See you at Jing University. The day the admission letter arrived, sunlight fell on the dining table, the red cover shining brightly, almost blinding. My mom washed her hands before daring to touch it. My dad placed it on the most prominent cabinet in our house, next to my certificates from elementary school through high school. This time, no one could tear it apart. Before school started, I went to the old residential area downstairs. In my previous life, my mother jumped from this building. The concrete ground had been repaved, and a few blades of grass grew from the corner of the wall. I stood there, holding a small bouquet of white flowers. Not for a memorial, it's a farewell. I whispered softly, Dad, Mom, I've brought you out. The wind blew through the hallway, and the old iron door creaked. The phone rang. It's a message from Lin Shuhe. Zhou Yue was ultimately sentenced to probation with a record due to the circumstances and age factors. Chen Jiashu was also dealt with. Zhou Limin's company case will be tried separately, and the outcome will not be favorable. There is also a forwarded message following. Zhou Yue has dropped out of school. Her mother took her away from the city. Before leaving, she stood at the school gate for a long time, not responding to anyone who called her. Some said she kept staring at the bulletin board. Her award-winning photo had once been posted there. Now it had been replaced by the joyful announcement of my admission to Peking University. I turned off my phone. My heart didn't surge as I had imagined. I just felt a stone that had been weighing on my chest for a long time finally come to rest. On the first day of school, Jiang Yuheng came to pick me up at the station. He was wearing a white shirt, standing among the crowd, easy to spot at a glance. I dragged my suitcase over. He took my suitcase. Classmate Song. Welcome to Jing University. I looked at the school gate, and my eyes felt a little warm. Classmate Jiang. Please take care of me in the future. He smiled. Shall we get something to eat first? I nodded. After walking a few steps, I stopped and glanced back. The station was bustling with people. The sounds of announcements, footsteps, and luggage wheels rolling across the floor blending together. The shouts, cries, and the sound of cameras shoved in my face from my past life suddenly felt very distant. I lowered my head to send a message to my parents. Arrived. My mom replied instantly. Eat well. My dad followed up with a message. Don't save money. Dad sent the living expenses. I smiled and put my phone away. Jiang Yuheng asked. What are you laughing at? I said. My dad told me not to save money. He pushed my suitcase forward. Then let's go. Let's eat something expensive today. The sunlight shines on the road, casting the shadows of trees in a grid-like pattern. I walk forward, stepping on those patches of light. This time, my answer sheet is completely filled. So is my life. Hey, could you please rate this story in the comments section? Use a scale of 10. Please. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to follow.